We will talk about the linear classifier. So we already studied about the regression and the concept of line or linear regression or the gradient descent. As we know that with the help of classifier we are classifying, or the purpose of classification has been done. For example, if we want to predict some kind of an email, this is somehow input, and want to predict that this email belongs to some spam data or not a spam data. So we can say that Y is some kind of a prediction which we can say if this is a spam will represent 1 or 0, or you can say it kind of somehow binary data. Classification, true or false, like concepts. So spam or not spam. In this situation further, if we want to know, depend upon the input value x, there are certain predictor, or you can say hypothesis function. And this hypothesis function will predict or give us some kind of an output. This is somehow our observed or predicted value. And what we need to do, we will compare it with some y. This is the ground truth. Ground truth will be defined by data scientist, artificial intelligence, okay, machine learning. So you people will define the ground truth data.
Yes.
Then with the help of features or hypothesis function you will predict, and then you will compare, or with the help of loss function you will see how it is different from the ground truth. Of course, in case of classification, we already know in simple case it is a binary classification. However, if I am talking about the type of predictions, there are three major types. The multi-class. For example, you are visiting some jungle. There are many species for cat, okay, so fox, dog, so it's kind of a four-legged species. So you want to predict a multi-classification. All have some kind of a 2 eyes, 2 ears. So the bird which you predict that it belongs to cat category, it belongs to dog, or it belongs to fox, whatever. Similarly, another prediction can be done in the form of ranking. Three, okay, 1, 2, 3. There are 3 students with roll number 1, 2, 3, and you want, on the basis of final exam, you said that roll number 3 stood first. Then you can say that roll number 1 becomes second, and then 2 on third. So it is the ranking. It is also kind of a prediction problem. With the help of predictor, we predict. C is some kind of a structured. Structured mean that you translate something or you observe the structure. For example, in case of La Casa Blue, with the help of NLP predictor, you translate it in some, okay, yeah, of course, this is the hypothesis function where the blue house. So these are the possible types of prediction, but underground of all the predictions there is a one major thing which is known as a data. you should have sufficient amount of data, and in this data you should have some features and some ground truth. Features are important because with the help of, basically you need here weight in order to predict what? Y. And this is of course, and this is equal to some kind of a, this thing, linear equation. So, X is of course features, number of rooms, number of doors, but the important thing is contribution of weight. What's the quality of door? It's wooden, it's iron, or it's the glass. Similarly, you observe the size of a room, it's smaller, it's bigger kind of thing. So important features are there. This is a ground truth. We should not bother it, but once we will get a predicted value of hypothesis, applying hypothesis, some y, then we will compare it, then we will see the loss or least square error, some kind of a difference, some kind of a error margin. But important thing here is some kind of a weight. So with the help of training data, somehow these represent some kind of a data. So once we are going to train the data, in this we need, as I said, that we need to define it. And in this definition, for example, we say spam email. Spam email may be $10 million in some email subject or the word use the partially behavior of the content. Then you will say it's some kind of a spam, some kind of a porn or some kind of a adult material. Then you will say it's kind of spam. So it's behavior, partially, not completely. Then you will say, train the data, you will say it's one, one kind of the spam. But if you will say the class AI, class fall 21, it's not a spam, it's a very genuine thing, genius people. So you will say it's not a spam. So my children, I don't know, it's closed here. Like, what's the like this? This not complete PPT. Just for a moment. Understand?
Yes, sir.
The basically specification of behavior you need to define in the training.
What will be the ground truth over there?
Yeah, ground truth. Ground truth is the original thing. For example, clinical surgeon said that if your heartbeat in case of a blood pressure, if it is near to the 90, it's value, because computer or system do not play with emotions or some kind of stories. Check the numeric value. It's 90, then it's normal. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
The normal is some kind of a ground truth, because how he observed the 90 is a ground truth with the normal value, because he observed experimentally trials on thousands of people. Then he said that the people with having a 90 blood pressure can be considered as a normal people. Standard. Are you getting the point?
Yes.
So this is the ground truth. Then deviation from this lower or upper kind of a problem, then the certain symptoms, some diagnostic will be done.
What will be the ground truth in checking email address?
Yeah, email, as I told you, the email, you will define the key contents, words, labels. For example, if the dollar sign in the subject, the fraud detections, adult material, then it's kind of a problem.
So it's come in features, like if email having dollar or like this.
Yeah, if you allow me to speak a little further, then I will try to explain. Yes, good questions. Very well done. Yeah, don't look at him, The questions are really genuine. Yeah, let me try to explain. Yeah, please. You people are really tricky. So this data, okay, train, you will define some kind of a, so then system will learn. Your memory, okay, system memory will learn that if this feature, this will become a cat, four head, okay. If the two legs, this can be a bird or some, okay, feathers like. Are you getting my point? So learn, and then you will have some kind of input features. It can belong to some the mammal, okay, animal, some the birds features. Then with the help of hypothesis, you will predict it, and you will, okay, so predictor, okay, then your ground truth already defined. This is the, okay, somehow it's the four birds, four legs animals, mammal, okay, animal, okay, two birds, usually bird. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Why? As I told you people that this is the data, but train, okay, training there with the help of this. So you will consider this, for example, just let me explain it in simple. This is somehow email. I'm talking about features. And if I am talking about features, then length should be greater than 10 characters. That is first feature. If any phrase having more than 10 characters, then you may say it's an email. Second one, contains at the rate. In any email, at the rate is available, then you will say email. One feature is this. No email could have more than, okay, so like this at the rate, but usually one, okay, so an email. Ends with, yeah, brilliant, .com,
Gmail.pk.
yeah, you will say one is this feature. Dot ends with .org, you may say it's 0.
It may not be.
You may say that it's kind of a, okay, address, link, okay, hyperlink, but it may not be kind of email. Just try to understand.
Understood.
So these are the features. Remember, these are the features. And we usually represent the features with some kind of a vector. And I told you, if you are talking about the houses, X naught must be 1. If you are talking about the emails, it should be 1. It represents one particular sample thing. Are you getting my point? So it's always 1. Here you can say X1, X2, X3. These are the features. Now, we need some kind of a weight parameter. This weight parameter is kind of a contributing factor for each feature. For example, okay, one thing, this X belongs to n dimension. N means number of features. Remember, these are just the 4, okay, dimension, but in the true observation, millions and trillions of the features. AI is dealing. So n can be any number. And remember this n, okay, weight should also belong to the n dimension. Should also have n dimensions. Therefore, in case of emails, your weight contribution in case of a length greater than 10, it's not a big deal, okay, maybe 2 words, okay, less than 10. Are you getting my point? So you are giving the weight minus 1.2. In case of, okay, you say that some contains at the rate, you can give a huge weight to it.
Yes.
Magnitude should be bigger, maybe kind of
20.
3. And in case of .com, okay, .com involvement, you can again give some kind of a weight, but at the rate is very, okay, magnitude of bigger, so you may little less 2.2. In case of organization and with some .org, you can say consider very less weight. Usually people do not have, okay, org in, but someone can set it, okay, but usually do not. So 1.2. But remember, this is the character, okay, so these are the weights. Who set these weights? These weights, again, you need manually. These are the intercept value. As I told you, I start my business with the 0, then it's another story. If I start my business with 10 million rupee, it's another story. In both the cases, profit will be different. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Time will different, okay? So the situation weights, okay, you first set it, then with the help of gradient descent, because change with the 0, maybe I will earn 100 rupee next day if I will sell out the soil, okay, not by struggling, but if I will invest 10 million rupee, then the change is the bigger. Are you getting my point? So the gradient descent will differ. So updation is of course different. So here, let me again the weight. These are the 4 weights. So you are basically in the hypothesis case, what you will do, you will need to take the dot product, weight and the features. And in this situation, if I multiply both, okay, here remember that's why I said that usually you need to do this. Number of rows should be equal to number of a column for multiplication purpose. 1. You know why I said 1, okay? So once you will multiply, you will set this. This is again kind of a linear line, okay, concept of line. I will explain it, but this is some kind of intercept value and 1, okay. So once you will see this one, then you can say minus 1.2 intercept value. Plus, once you will multiply it, 3, 1 plus 2.2, 1 plus, so 1.40. Once you will get some kind of a score like 4. 4 is kind of a score, hypothesis score. In your system, you will say it's greater than 1, it's become a, okay, you can say that not spam. If less than, okay, 1, it can be a spam. It depends in any other, okay, according to the situation. So these systems, okay, will play a role to understand or predict some kind of a observation, and it depends upon mainly the magnitude of the weight. Weight is lesser, okay, then of course it will behave differently. As I told you in start, this is your input x, y. Y is the ground truth, x features. But you need what? Weight. With the help of gradient descent, I told you how you can predict the weight initially. Okay, so the weight is playing a big role because the magnitude predict, okay, or help out to decide in the linear classifier systems. So mainly the sign, for example, this one, sign plus minus of the hypothesis output. Somehow, if it's somehow equivalent, or so this one, output, okay, predictor. So in this situation, my children, if you will have plus 1, okay, let me make it simple. Usually your binary language, ASCII code, okay, so it will work like
0, 1.
okay, sorry, 1 in case greater than
1.
0 and 0, remember here, greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and 0 if this hypothesis less than 0. Is it okay? Clear or not?
No.
Not clear? Okay, let me make it more simple. Huh? If you will not, okay, interested, then it's another thing. Otherwise, English or Urdu does not make a big sense. Please try to understand. So the situation is here. Let me make, please. The sign of this score. If the plus 1, if the negative 1, or if the 0. If you are this, okay, if greater than 0. Another situation, if less than 0. If equal to 0. First case, in case of a clinical trial, or you can say that the email, plus 1 spam, negative 1 not spam, 0 don't know, could not say anything. But in case of but certain cases, this is some kind of a decision boundary, where it's some kind of a 0 is some kind of a separator, above, okay, it kind of a spam, low to it, threshold value, then it's kind of a not spam. Are you getting the situation or not? Sign score. Let me make it with the help, explain it with the help of some example, the 2D. When the system 2D, let me set some kind of a weight, vector, weight contribution. Weight contribution can be 2 minus 1. And another, okay, some features. Features point, there are suppose 3 features points, each with 2 value, okay. What will happen here? Basically this is the weight and this is some kind of the feature. This one represent the first, second or third, suppose this one is the, let me make it with the help of some. I need your kind attention, please. X-axis, Y-axis. Yeah, wait.
Ground.
X-axis 2, 0, 2, okay. 1, 2. Y-axis goes till 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me talk about the weight. Where is the weight vector? Basically, all these are vector. All these are
Vector.
This one is also vector. This one is also vector. This one is the, okay. Let me write in this one like this. All are vectors. All are vectors. So first one, weight vector. I am talking about the most important weight vector. 2 minus 1 x-axis 2, y-axis
Minus 1.
this point. So this one is the weight 2 minus 1. Is it okay?
Yeah.
And now I will have the first one, this vector, 2, 0, one x-axis 2,
Y axis 0.
y-axis
On axis.
0.
0. So
On
at this
x-axis.
point, this is suppose A. Another one,
0,
0 2.
one x-axis 0,
Y 2.
this one B.
No sir. उल्टा हो गया.
Huh? 0 B.
So 0
1 2.
2 minus 1 is 0.
Yeah, please let me revise it. This one is the A.
So your labeling is wrong.
Labeling sir.
Sorry, this one is. Oh, okay. I apologize. I did something. This one is the 2 0. Such a brave heart. Yeah, never mind. Thank you. So this one is the B. Let's talk about the C. C.
2 4.
C. Once x-axis 2, y-axis 4, somewhere at this point. So this one is C. My children, yeah, let me explain please. This is some critical point. So at this point,
Yes, sir.
passing through some line,
Yes.
and you can notice this one is the right angle in the weight vector and the given vector features vector. Right angle, acute angle. And all the things inside of it, some kind of acute angle positive. Not span.
Yes.
Problem is this, how you will make a score. You will need to take a dot product. You need to take hypothesis. This is the first, okay. 2 2s are what? 4
4.
minus 1 0
Zero.
0. So 4. First. Now I will go to the second one.
X2.
Yeah, B. Multiply the weight 2 0 zeros minus 1 multiply 2 answer
Minus
with
2.
Minus
sum. So minus 2.
Theta.
Is it okay?
Yes sir.
Dot product. This is again here.
X2.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Now let's go to the third one.
4.
2 2s are, please, I beg your kind attention, please. Don't sleep. 2 2s are 4. 4 minus.
Minus 4.
Yeah, according to this formula, xi plus yj, answer should be what?
0.
0.
So 0. Okay, once this is this one is somehow 0. So what is this 0? This is because acute angle. This plus everywhere and other side here all negative. All span. If within this domain, okay, this range, then it's not a spam, otherwise it's a spam. Go plus 1 is kind of, we are considering good score, positive score, it will something else, otherwise it's not. But what about the 0? 0 is kind of a separator, decision line, boundary line. Are you getting the point?
Yes, sir.
So this is somehow, you can say neutral. You can say neutral.
So where will you?
Yes, please?
So that email will go where, in spam or in inbox?
No
Yeah,
prediction for that.
You can say that it depends upon your setting, okay? It depends upon your setting. Usually sometimes you can notice in your inbox stupid emails are there due to reason this. Okay, score is almost near to 0 or 0 kind of things. Is it okay? So now we concluded, if this is the concept of, we are talking about the two, okay, values, some kind of a point, two-dimensional thing. But if we are talking about the 3 point source situation, then what is this? Some kind of a wall. This is kind of a line. This represents some kind of a
Line.
line. Features, two-dimensional features. Give us some kind of a line.
Yes.
And in this case, if we are talking about 3D building, this is the hyperplane. like hyperplane, this wall is some kind of a separator between two rooms. Is it okay? Similarly, thousands of the